Sean Diddy Combs was arrested tonight in New York City.
Hollywood may be a world of flashing lights, red carpets, and VIP parties, but sometimes the spotlight reveals a much darker side. And when it comes to P. Diddy, the whispers have been echoing for years. Behind the fame and fortune lies a trail of accusations, secrets, and shady behavior that some of Hollywood's biggest stars have been trying to warn us about for decades. From bizarre business practices to troubling personal behavior, these celebs saw it all, and some even called him out way before things hit the fan. Do you think you know the full story? Well, hold on tight, because this one is going to get real. These are the top 10 stars who warned us about P. Diddy, and trust me, you won't believe what they had to say. Starting with the man every guy worries about, Usher is a name we all know, and for the most part, thought we knew his story too. But there's a side of Usher's rise to fame that not everyone is familiar with. His early days spent with Diddy. Yep, that Diddy. Back in the 90s, a 13-year-old Usher, fresh-faced and full of dreams, moved in with Diddy at the infamous Puffy Flavor Camp, a place where the lines between mentorship and mayhem seemed to blur.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
Now, why was Usher there? It was supposed to be an opportunity to soak in the music industry lifestyle. But what he saw? Well, let's just say it was beyond a simple lesson in music. In interviews, particularly with Howard Stern in 2016, Usher hinted at the wild things he witnessed at Diddy's house. The pop star said, very curious things took place there.
Went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
Can you imagine what he saw at just 13? It was so bad he even admitted he didn't fully understand what he was actually seeing. He did make one thing clear though: he would never send his own kids to Puffy Camp. Yikes!
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
I mean, the red flags were always there. And if Usher, an industry titan now, wouldn't expose his own children to that environment, maybe we should have listened more closely to what he was subtly trying to tell us. But if Usher left us pondering, comedian Cat Williams? Oh, well, he took things a step further. Let's shift some gears for a bit to the comedic realm and talk about Cat Williams, who made headlines for some eye-popping remarks about Diddy.
I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
Known for his outspokenness, Williams took to Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay podcast, where he didn't hold back on the infamous Diddy parties. Williams emphasized the importance of protecting one's integrity, stating, if P. Diddy be wanting a party, you got to tell him no.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no.
Let's face it, it's clear he's no stranger to the rumors swirling about Diddy's wild gatherings. He warned folks to steer clear of the chaos, hinting at some unsettling truths behind the lavish parties. With a history of run-ins with the law and some questionable behavior himself, it's no surprise that some might raise eyebrows about his credibility. Yet, as the conversation unfolded, William seemed more concerned about keeping a certain part of his anatomy safe amidst the madness.
I don't want to have, because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
Though he didn't elaborate, it's hard not to connect the dots, especially with recent allegations of Diddy's so-called freakout parties making waves in the news. Next up, Aubrey O, former Danity Kane member, and she didn't just drop hints, she screamed from the rooftops about Diddy's treatment of women and artists. Aubrey was one of Diddy's proteges, handpicked to be part of Danity Kane on making the band. You'd think being groomed by stardom by Diddy would be a dream, right? Well, not quite. Aubrey has been very open over the years about how toxic the environment around Diddy was, describing him as manipulative and controlling. From body shaming to verbal abuse, Aubrey made it clear that working with Diddy was more of a nightmare than a dream. She revealed that her time with him made her lose her identity and question her worth, especially after he famously fired her from Danity Kane on national TV. In fact, she said in interviews she felt like she was surviving Diddy, not thriving under his mentorship. And let's not forget, after Diddy's recent legal troubles came to light, Aubrey was not shocked at all. She said that the way he treated women was appalling, and it was only a matter of time before the truth surfaced. Shouldn't we have listened to her sooner? She was right there, warning us all along.
But as far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these niggas, all you fake hard niggas, f you.
But speaking of those who aren't shy about calling Diddy out, next we've got the one and only Kanye West. And you already know Kanye isn't one to hold back. As we all know, when Kanye has something to say, you hear it. And when it came to Diddy, Ye had a lot to say. Kanye has called him out in ways that make you sit up and wonder, how much more is there under the surface? Kanye, who's always been loud and proud of his opinions, took subtle jabs at Diddy over the years.
I don't know if it's a party. I'm saying that metaphorically. You know what I'm saying?
But you've heard about the parties that everyone to talk, but you've never got invited to.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what the party. That's how far out of it I am. I don't know.
He's thrown shade at the music industry, often pointing out how major figures like Diddy exploit artists. I mean, remember when Kanye called out the gatekeepers who control the industry and profit off the talent of others? He didn't name names, but it wasn't hard to connect the dots to moguls like Diddy.
Amount of control, and you get the kings and the chiefs and all that. You try to tear down their reputation. You try to come and take them, lock them up. Anybody who ain't play by the rules or play by the game or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
And it's not just about music. Kanye has always positioned himself as someone who wants to break the system. The same system Diddy thrived in and benefited from, one that often leaves artists feeling used and discarded. Ye's message was simple. If you're stuck under someone's thumb, especially someone like Diddy, you might never get the recognition or the money you'd actually deserve. Now, with Diddy's recent legal issues, Kanye's criticisms hit even harder. It seems Kanye warned us in his own Kanye way, never shy to expose how he feels about the truth in the industry leaders. Now, the question is, should we have paid closer attention to him and his rants? But Kanye's warning was just one layer. Next up, we've got Rodney Jones Jr., someone whose experiences add even more weight to the allegations.
I'm a music producer who's a writer and musician. Different genres. I started in the gospel. And
Lil Rod might not be a household name, but his connection to Diddy, well, it's real. And what he had to say is something you shouldn't ignore. Lil Rod, one of Diddy's former close friends and someone who ran in the same circle, had a front row seat to Diddy's life behind the glitz and glamour. He worked closely with the music mogul, and from the outside, it might have looked like Lil Rod had made it. But here's the thing that gets concerning. Lil Rod began speaking out about the shady dealings with Diddy's inner circle, hinting that there were things happening behind closed doors that no one wanted to talk about.
situations, just dealing with this. It's the contract that they give me and the offer that they gave me was just disgusting. The producer fee, pennies, and on top of that, these guys are trying to steal my publishing.
In several interviews, Lil Rod didn't shy away from suggesting that Diddy wasn't just playing puppet master in the music industry, he was pulling strings in all aspects of life, including some very questionable behavior. His words may not have been as direct as others, but the undertone was clear. There was something off about how Diddy operated, especially with people closest to him. Lil Rod's warnings might have flown under the radar, but now, with everything coming to light, his quiet revelation seemed to fit perfectly into the larger puzzle of Diddy's alleged actions. And with so many people now standing up, Lil Rod's testimony feels less like rumor and more like confirmation. After all, if someone who was that close to Diddy is warning us, how much more evidence do we actually need? Mace, the rapper who helped put Bad Boy Records on the map, has been very vocal about his issues with Diddy, and it's so far pretty clear he's been trying to warn us about Diddy's darker side all along. Let's rewind a bit. Mace and Diddy were tight back in the late 90s when they dominated the charts. But that partnership soured when Mace felt Diddy wasn't playing fair, financially or personally. In fact, he's repeatedly called Diddy out for exploiting his artists, especially when it comes to money. It got so bad, in a scathing Instagram post, Mace revealed that he tried to buy back his publishing from Diddy for $2 million, only to be told he would have to match a $20 million offer from a European buyer. And here's the kicker. Mace said Diddy got those rights for just $20,000 back in the day. Talk about betrayal. Mace didn't stop there though, because he publicly accused Diddy of being a hypocrite, preaching about black excellence while holding back the success of his own artists. It wasn't even a one-time thing though, because he's been pushing this narrative for years. And with all the allegations against Diddy now, well, it feels like Mase was trying to pull back the curtain long before anyone else. And if you thought Mase had a lot to say, just wait till you hear what Wendy Williams has to add to the mix. Wendy has always had her finger on the pulse of the celebrity world, and when it comes to Diddy, she's not shy about spilling the tea.
We come from a very homosexual era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such.
Now this one, you knew coming. I mean, Wendy has never shied away from spilling piping hot tea, and when it comes to Diddy, her teapot's been boiling over for decades. Back in the 90s, Wendy was one of the first to hint at Diddy's darker side, suggesting that there were some serious skeletons in his closet. So what did Wendy say? Well, on her radio show, Wendy would frequently allude to rumors of Diddy's questionable behavior. From his treatment to artists to some unsettling stories about his personal life, Wendy was always hinting that there was more going on than what met the eye. In fact, Diddy was reportedly so furious about Wendy's revelations that he allegedly had her blacklisted from the industry for a time. Think about that. How deep do the secrets run when the mere mention of them can have you shut out of an entire industry? Fast forward to today with the serious allegations against Diddy, and Wendy's old rumors suddenly don't seem so far-fetched, now do they? She's the queen of I told you so, and honestly, we should have probably been listening to her rumors and whispers a bit closer. Well, while Wendy was dishing out rumors, Tupac took things to another level. He didn't hint, he flat out called Diddy, and that's where things really got interesting. We don't have to tell you, because you already know, when Pac speaks, he doesn't mince words, and his warnings about Diddy, well, they were loud and clear. Tupac famously called out Diddy during the height of the East Coast versus West Coast feud, and let's say he didn't hold back. In interviews and in his music, Tupac openly accused Diddy and Bad Boy Records of being involved in some shady business, even pointing the finger at them for the infamous 1994 Quad Studios shooting that left Pac wounded and distrustful. Tupac believed Diddy and his crew had a hand in setting him up, and it wasn't just talk. He went straight to them with an explosive track, Hit 'Em Up, where he directly called out Diddy and Biggie. This wasn't just industry beef. Pac was trying to tell the world about something deeper, something more sinister. He saw Diddy as a puppet master, pulling strings behind the scenes, and whether or not people believed him at the time, Pac's allegations seem eerily true now with the recent revelations. Was Tupac trying to lift the veil on Diddy's empire? If you think Tupac was the only one throwing shots at Diddy, then guess again. Because 50 Cent, a man who's never been afraid to publicly call out anyone, might have been the biggest whistleblower. We all know that 50 has never been shy when it comes to calling people out, and his feud with Diddy is a prime example of that. See, these two have been trading shots for years, but in true 50 Cent fashion, he's thrown in some serious accusations that looking back seem more like a warning. In recent years, 50 has publicly questioned Diddy's character on multiple occasions, often hinting at some suspicious behavior. He's made jokes about Diddy's parties, calling them suspect and insinuating that there's more going on behind the scenes than just music and business. In interviews, he's even suggested that Diddy has a tendency to control and manipulate those around him, claiming that he's witnessed some shady activities firsthand. Remember when 50 infamously asked, "Why is Diddy always running around with them young boys?" People laughed it off, thinking it was just some more trolling from 50. But with all the new information coming to light, we might have to ask, was he really trying to point out something darker all along? He's been dropping hints for years. We just really weren't paying attention. But while 50 kept it loud in public, Cassie, Diddy's former long-term girlfriend, quietly skipped away, and her story might just be the most telling of all. For those who don't know Cassie, this was the woman who stood by Diddy's side for over a decade before finally breaking free. And among everyone, she might have delivered the biggest warning of all, even if it wasn't with words. For years, Cassie remained in the shadow of Diddy, but once their relationship ended, the details that started to surface painted a much darker picture. Cassie first met Diddy when she was signed to his label, and their relationship quickly evolved from professional to personal. While the romance appeared glamorous on the surface, rumors swirled for years that things were far from picture perfect behind closed doors. Cassie's departure from Diddy in 2018 sparked whispers of emotional manipulation and control, and many speculated that her newfound freedom and rapid engagement to trainer Alex Fine just months after their breakup was a sign that she'd been waiting to escape. But it wasn't until recently, when Cassie filed a lawsuit alleging years of abuse, that the extent of Diddy's behavior really came to light. The allegations included physical violence, coercion, and even forced participation in sexual acts with other men, a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the industry. And when Cassie settled her lawsuit just a day after filing it, that only fueled the suspicions that there's a lot more to Diddy's story than we've been told. So while stars like Usher, Mace, and 50 Cent dropped hints, it was Cassie's bold decision to speak up and break away that truly shone a spotlight on who Diddy was behind the scenes. The question now is, how much longer can Diddy keep the truth hidden? Because with so many voices rising against him, it seems like time's almost up. And there you have it, the top 10 stars who warned us about P. Diddy. These celebs saw things firsthand and tried to sound the alarm long before the public knew the full story. So what do you think? Are these stars just airing out rumors, or is there something darker lurking in Diddy's world? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the secrets of the rich and famous. Stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next one.